Welcome back, VR buddies. We're heading back into Grimlord VR today, specifically Chapter 2, where the bosses crank their difficulty up to 11 and the enemies are about as friendly as a cactus hug. If you thought Chapter 1 was rough, just wait. My heart rate's still spiking after these encounters. Stay tuned until the end if you want to see me get absolutely wrecked by a multi-armed nightmare named Fidelixia. Spoiler alert, she made me rethink my life choices. Seriously, I'm still seeing spinning swords in my sleep. Strap on your headset, tighten those controller grips, and let's jump right in because we've got 4 monstrous bosses and 1 secret fight ready to test your reflexes and your sanity. First up, Grub the Goblin Hero, the swole green menace who apparently downed a few hundred protein shakes before your arrival. His arms look like he's been benching wagons for fun. He's got a massive halberd and this massive shield that could pass for a garage door. I knew I was in trouble the second I heard a guttural roar echoing through that crumbling corridor. Stepping into the open arena, I come face to face with the Goblin Hero. And let me tell you, the hero part must be ironic, because he's the kind of dude who'd poke you with his spear first, then ask questions later. Right away I'm thinking, okay, big guy, slow swings, I can handle this. But the moment he starts stomping, I realize he's also a champion rock pitcher. 1 second he's raising that halberd. The next, a boulder's flying at my face. If you manage to dodge that, he'll charge forward like a green wrecking ball, leaving just enough time to dance around and poke his exposed belly. Or, better yet, circle behind him for a sneaky stab. Trust me, don't stand in front of his shield. That thing hits harder than a boss fight in real life would. But once you break his rhythm, he runs out of gas pretty fast. Still, underestimating him is a one-way ticket to the nearest checkpoint.
May you rot in the stinking hell where you belong. I wish I had a body just so I could spit on you.
Next up, I'm creeping through a gloomy courtyard, because that's always a great idea in Souls-like game, right? When the Black Order Magister floats into view like she owns this place. I swear she's got this dark sorceress aura, complete with ominous chanting and her 2 knights walking beside her. Before I can say, this is definitely a bad idea, she doubled that summoning handful of zombies, like she's the undead party planner of the century. Now, I'm trying to keep my cool, but it's tough when the dead ones are nibbling at your ankles and the knights are swinging swords at your head. Meanwhile, the Magister is teleporting around the courtyard, occasionally zapping you with magic bolts. It's like playing a twisted game of whack-a-mole, except the mole fights back. What's the trick here? Don't let the minions pile up. It's like a mini zombie apocalypse. Once they're out of the picture, you can zero in on the Magister herself, who, let's be honest, is more talk than walk if you can force her to stick around. The real challenge is not losing track of her when she vanishes. You blink, and suddenly she's on the other side of Atrium, laughing maniacally. Not cool, lady. Not cool.
Not bad. You might have a chance after all. Next time, it won't be this easy.
Time for the Dryad Golem, the hidden boss who's basically a walking chunk of enchanted forest. You might miss him if you don't explore carefully, but trust me, you don't want to waltz in unprepared. I learned that the hard way and ran off with my tail between my legs. This boss isn't just lying around on the main route, you've got to do a little treasure hunt to find him. First, comb the outer walls of the castle until you spot a wide open field down below. Skip climbing up the tower for now. Drop down into that field so you can unlock the inner gate. But you're not done yet. There's a second gate lever hidden in the collapsed bell tower, which gives you a handy shortcut if, or when, you need to retreat. Personally, I was wandering around, totally relaxed, even stopped by a little merchant stall and drank a potion on a nearby rock, when the atmosphere switched from peaceful to panic. Suddenly, the boss music kicked in, and I saw a health bar looming overhead. Zero preparation on my part, so I hightailed it back. Went the main route to the bell tower, opened up the passage, and snagged a checkpoint. Once I'd mustered the courage to go back down, that's when I finally saw him. A massive golem draped in tree branches, absolutely hell-bent on smashing me into splinters. The Dryad Golem moves slower than a troll after a heavy meal, but each swing of its massive limbs can knock your lights out. This guy fights like the first golem from Chapter 1, so you know the drill. Blunt weapon to sap his stamina, then aim for the crystal on his back. If you pop that crystal, you'll have him toppling over like a giant Jenga tower. Just watch out for his ground-smashing tantrums. I swear it's like he's personally offended by your presence. And now, dear friends, let's talk about the boss who nearly made me rage quit Grimlord VR for good. The highest person in this castle, the lady of the house and the reason of its fall, Fidelixia is a true nightmare amongst the bosses. Picture a regal, almost ethereal figure perched on some creepy contraption, except she has 6 swords and apparently a PhD in sending you to the checkpoint. Fidelixia is the absolute embodiment of nightmare fuel, and I died so many times I started even counted my tombstones. Fidelixia is riding this cage contraption packed with writhing mutants, truly a lovely sight. Every time she whips her 6 swords around, it looks like a whirling blender of steel, ready to dice you into bite-sized hero chunks. I tried to stay calm, but it's tough when you see your health bar evaporate faster than your weekend once you start playing this game. Still, there's a weakness: the cage beneath her. She's heavily armored from head to waist, but if you can angle your strikes to pierce or bash the lower portion, you'll see her stagger. Of course, every time I felt I had the upper hand, she'd spin around like some demonic figure skater and slice me into VR confetti. But eventually, after more attempts than I care to admit, I chip her down to her last third of health. That's when she decides, hey, how about a second phase? She collapses from the cage, landing on her own twisted limbs, and picks up 2 swords for some terrifying close-quarters mania. Now, she's lower to the ground and more mobile, hacking at my legs as revenge for me always targeting hers. She also leaps in unpredictable arcs, making it feel like I'm fighting an evil circus acrobat. I tried the fancy stuff, like dual fire staves, and on one glorious attempt, I actually lit her up faster than a holiday tree. Other times, I'd use 2 precise rapiers, landing those pinpoint thrusts to chip away at her armor. The key is not to panic. The moment you lose your composure, she'll carve you up. When I finally landed the killing blow, I was so thrilled that I practically danced around my living room. Last but not least, we have the Warden, a hulking mass of metal who apparently never missed a day at the gym. If you thought Grub's shield was big, wait until you see this guy's mace. It's calming like a wrecking ball but with handle, and if he hits you square on, your HP melts faster than an ice cream cone in the desert. He doesn't do a lot of fancy tricks, he's more brute force than subtlety. But that force is enough to knock you across the room. His stomps also create shockwaves that can clip you if you're not paying attention. The funniest or scariest moment is when he decides to throw his gigantic mace at you like a hammer toss in the VR Olympics. It's both terrifying and hilarious. The best part is, once that mace leaves his hands, he's either got to fight you bare-fisted or trudge over to pick it up again, giving you a perfect opening. Just be careful not to get too cocky and chase him without a plan. He might still turn around and pummel you with those armored gauntlets. Meanwhile, if you can worm your way around his defenses, he's got these barely protected ankles and feet. I know, it's not glamorous, but if you hack away at them, you'll drain his stamina like nobody's business. Once he's forced to take a breather, seize the moment to land a few heavy blows. Trust me, the sound of his armor clattering when he's staggered is strangely satisfying. After besting all 5 bosses, I felt like I could conquer the world, or at least take a nap, because they put me through the ringer. Chapter 2 really shows off how Grimlord VR isn't playing around. It demands you bring your A game or suffer a swift defeat. Let me know in the comments which boss gave you the biggest headache, or if you somehow breezed through them all like a VR pro. I want your secrets. And don't forget, we're not done with Grimlord VR yet. There's a new arena mode coming up that'll let us test our skills in wave after wave of chaos. Trust me, you won't want to miss that. Also, we've got one more chapter of those awesome boss fights and a glorious finale. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss more VR craziness. Until next time, this is VR Buddy signing off, wishing you swift victories and minimal rage quits. Stay awesome, stay gaming, and I'll catch you in the next one.